Okay, we are recording. And just to have a place to start, today is Thursday, November 12th, 2015, and this is the meeting for the Adult Learning Zone team, the designers on that team. We've got Aaron, Brian, Joe, Jennifer, and Kaya, and I think Gio popped in earlier. I think he may have had a time zone issue because I saw that he was logged on earlier. And I'm not sure about Gilbert, if he's going to be able to join us or not. So I put in the chat room, welcome everybody, by the way, hi. I put in the agenda for tonight. It looks a lot like what we did last time, but we'll just be updating different things. If you go to the correct date for today, the 12th of November, you'll see the agenda for today. And as we get started, we had a really good meeting last night with the adult, what are they calling themselves? The MOOC team, the ABE MOOC team. And their next meeting is Wednesday, December 2nd. And I think it would be a great idea if we all came together at that point. And then I think the stuff you guys are working on would be improved if you knew kind of what they were doing, and vice versa. We're kind of getting to a point where I think it would be great. Does that work for folks? Wednesday, December 2nd? And then again, it's an hour earlier. So it'd be 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Does that work okay? Does that work for you guys? Wednesday, December 2nd?
Yep, works for me.
Okay.
Jennifer, this is Aaron. I might be a few minutes late to that. I have a meeting that night.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You know, we can start with other stuff, but especially for your section, the group that's doing the, Jessica is doing the design plan, and, you know, the design plan leads into the style guide. So it makes sense that at this point, you know, we kind of work together. Yeah, so that would be 6 Central, 7 Eastern, right, on the second, Kaya. That's right. Okay, well, let's just jump right into it. Like I said, Gio popped in earlier. I think he had the wrong time for the meeting, but he and I have been corresponding, and he's going to be preparing a logo for us that's branded specifically for Adult Learning Zone and has the Designers for Learning, you know, pieces into it. So we'll set that off to the side, and let's just jump right into it. Gilbert and Aaron made a revision to the design plan, and I put a link there. You can see where I scratched off the one that we had before, and then I've got the link. Did you guys want to take us through that? Do you want me to give you the screen sharing ability?
Jennifer, I'm on my phone right now, so I can see the screen, but I can't interact.
Oh, okay.
With it. Okay, I apologize. I just wasn't able to be on my computer.
No problem. So you can see it though, right? So you can boss me around and tell me where you want to go. So you want me to just kind of start scrolling, and you want to just kind of walk us through the changes you guys made?
Well, what I had done was I had done some research on the WPIA, lesson plan model, because that's where Miss Duffy had directed us to look at that, and it seems like that's pretty ubiquitous in the zone in which we're designing for. So I thought that it might be good to add that to the actual lesson materials section and the template.
Right, this part right here.
There.
Right?
That's just something I kind of just took from different pieces on the web and just try to maybe give an example of maybe a kind of an easy to use section. And then if you go up to the top where in the green space there, I also included a link that gives an overview of the model that the designer could probably, if they want to know more. And it's also got that wheel that was on there in that link. So, I'm new to this lesson planning type of stuff. So I'm just trying to, but I this is just my amateur opinion, and also based on what, Miss Duffy said last time of suggesting that might be something that they're familiar with, the teachers.
Yep.
Because it seems to be everywhere. I mean, I saw it on several different websites, and so I just thought maybe it would be good to use that as kind of a guide for for the IDs in the MOOC class, but
Yeah, it's perfect. And actually, again, this, we got the two parallel design teams going. So last night we had the same
Mhm.
exact conversation with the, let me hang on one second, let me mute. You're getting some weird noise there. Sorry about that. So for the team last night, they are doing the exact same thing that you just described. So they're taking
Yeah.
the WPIA model and putting it into, I believe it's, there's two different modules that are going to be referencing it. So that's perfect.
yeah.
So we'll just make sure that, you guys are linking to the same material.
Can I add one more thing? If you
Sure.
go up a little bit from the lesson,
Mhm.
I added a task analysis because I've seen that that's been a component of, if you go down just a little bit more.
Oh, down. Okay. Down.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
in,
Okay.
yeah, the task analysis, I've seen that that's been in some of the lesson plans
Okay.
associated with PIA. I mean, so I just kind of did a little description of what that would be there, but that can be something that's just a suggestion I made because I've seen that in other places.
Yep.
And I don't know how that would differ from relevance to practice. So, we might want to have a discussion about that. So, I mean, if anybody wants to like make it prettier or come up with a different format, I was just putting that in as that yellow table as just kind of a suggestion. And most of them have like time, or they suggest, indicating how much time each section would be too.
Okay.
So that's why I included the time on the table. So
Okay. Yeah. Time for required
the
lesson.
column. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, up there, but also down in the table, each section.
Mm-hmm.
I had a column for time. So.
Yeah, that's great. So I think,
Okay.
I think what would be great for this now is to, the person specifically that's working on the design proposal is Jessica Ressig. And so I think what I'll do is send a copy of this template to that other group and have them look at it. And then we'll just make sure we're using the same common language and the same headings and things like that, because I think we are, but we'll just kind of have to do like an apples to apples, but this looks like it totally dovetails. And then I don't know, Kay or any.
Can I add one more thing? I'm sorry.
Oh, definitely. Go ahead.
My apologies, but there are some of the lesson planning models that have an R at the end of the WPIA that is a reflection section.
Oh.
So I don't know if I've seen that in a few places. So so I think that's step 6 there at the end. I can't really tell that much, but that would be a 7. So there would be an R on the end of the WPIA that has like a reflection section, where students kind of reflect on what they've learned. I know we use that in our adult learning classes in our college courses, where students journal at the end of the night on what they learned. So I like it. A lot of students say they enjoy that. I know that's a method that's used pretty ubiquitously throughout higher ed, but I like the journaling. Students get a lot out of it.
Okay.
So.
Yep, I do too. So
especially adult students.
So I added that in the comment section, so we don't forget about that, because that's a good thing to think about. And then, Brian or Joe, did you? I can unmute you. I'm sorry, I just had to. We were getting a little feedback. I'll unmute everybody again. Joe or Brian, did you want to comment about that?
We got a code 0 and a device.
Oh, there it is. I don't know who that. Hang on, I have to mute everybody again. Sorry. There we go. Sorry about that. We're just getting some feedback. Joe, did you want to comment on your self-assessment component piece? You were just thinking that was the you were wondering if that was the same thing as R?
Yeah, that's where we could have, I guess, a self-assessment component. I think we talked about that last time or the time before. That might be kind of neat.
Okay. Let me put that in here too.
Does that seem like it? Is that where that would belong with the reflection?
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, you know what? I wish I had the other one pulled up. I can't recall what the other group how they were. It ends with they're all so similar when you start. Like I think you said that, Aaron. At least we talked about that last night. That there tend to be kind of like variations on the theme on these lesson plans. and I'm getting them a little bit mixed up on one of them had like an integration type. Does this one have integration as well at the end? This one does not. So I think
Yeah.
maybe that I'll write that as well, Joe, though. That's a good point. Self-reflection, and then also I think the other one had integration. So we'll make sure we're self-assessment and integration. So, okay, very good. And Brian said, internet going out, can't hear anybody. Okay. Okay, so did we lose Brian? Yeah, I guess we lost Brian. Okay, so the next piece of this is actually, where are we at here? Okay, Joe and Brian. Well, Brian's gone. We'll still have to catch the recording. So, Joe, are you okay with doing the like a instruction for how to actually publish on? Let's see, this is down here. Oh, I'm skipping around a little bit. Sorry about that. It's under here, final deliverable authoring, open author. Are you okay creating some type of instruction on how to create OER using open author and then how to publish it on an OER Commons? Would you mind helping me work on that from Module 7 in the MOOC design?
Sure, definitely.
So I don't know, what do you have any thoughts on, my thought would be something that we could link to, so something fairly, simple, kind of a screenshots of the various stages in the process. And I know there is a video that OER Commons has for open author, how to use it, which we could, certainly leverage rather than having to create our own resource there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I watched that video today, and I found it a little bit. I thought the graphics were nice, but I found it a little bit distracting, to be honest with you. I hope you didn't do it, but it seemed a little bit fast to me. But I'm kind of slow, so.
Okay, well, no, that's a great suggestion. So maybe,
yeah.
I didn't watch all of it. I just saw part of it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fancy. It's got a lot of, like transition video. It's a video and screenshot or a screencast together, but it's fast. It's got music in it and stuff, and I was just like in sensory overload. So that was just my 2 cents on it.
Okay.
So I think maybe something slower, like a screencast, like you were saying, that just kind of gives kind of a slower, without the music and stuff. So I can't handle very many sounds and stuff all going on at once, but maybe other people like it,
I totally agree. So what do you think about that, Joe? What if you had like a sample that you wanted to create, like just a first part of a lesson or whatever it may be, and do it as a screencast? Would you be up to that challenge to take that on?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was thinking, I didn't know if this was the other part that's like higher up in the agenda or somewhere. Yeah. Do you want some job aids for the facilitators or people that might be uploading the resources or somehow associating the resources with the repository?
Definitely, especially a job aid. I think what we're going to have happen, and you've played around with it probably more than I have, but we're going to make it a requirement that they use Open Office to create their final, it's not Open Office, I'm sorry, Open Author for the last module. And so we would like the students to then do their own creation of the content on Open Author, and then, finish it up and make it live on the OER Commons. So yeah, from a job aid standpoint, that would be helping out the students actually to walk them through that. But what do you think though? Also, do we need a job aid for how to log in and find our group? Like to set up an account and stuff like that?
Yeah, that might be good.
Okay.
I mean,
go ahead.
Unless we could just sort of just provide some basic direction for that.
Yeah, do you want to just write something up, something simple, and then we'll just stick it in lesson 7 on, here's how you log in, here's how you find our group, and then get into more of the nitty-gritty of creating a screencast or having screenshots and stuff in some type of job aid as far as these are the fields you need to fill in when you use Open Author to publish it and things like that. Does that make sense?
Okay. So do you want students to be able to publish it to the group so it's officially available to the public, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know how to do that myself. Is that hard to do? Like how to find, once you find the group?
I think there are several settings that you can have as administrators and what you allow your members to do. So if we just wanted them to be members of the group and not necessarily publish the resources to the public, I think we could do that. So they could access the group and be a part of the group as members, but not necessarily publish things, unless we wanted them to, which I can look into that a little bit more to make sure that that's true.
Yeah, I think we do, don't we? I mean, because by this point, by lesson 7, when we'd be giving them this instruction, they would have already done the design proposal, done a prototype, gone through a formative evaluation, and then I think we'd be ready for them to upload that as a resource. But can you kind of go through why you seem a little hesitant to do that? You think it might we might get a bunch of junk loaded in there, but possibly.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that, because I keep going back to, if this is going to be vetted, that we want to wait until it's vetted and in the final version and meets all the criteria that we want it to meet before it's a part of the group. I didn't know if that was like a hardcore or something that you wanted to stick to, or if it's more a little lax and you just kind of, just kind of let the attendees get real involved and upload their own piece.
Yeah. Okay, so there are a couple ways we could do this. So we could have them create it in Open Author, but not necessarily put it in it would just be out in OER Commons, right? And then we could have a second step where it's vetted by the facilitators, and then they decide whether it's worthy of being in our group. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't know how strict you wanted to be about that, and if that was a step that actually needed to happen, or if it's not super important.
It is important. I like where you're thinking here. So, I should have played around with it a little bit more. I didn't realize that you could make it 2 steps. So, okay, so let's kind of step back. So then, if you would be putting together the instructions through a screencast or whatever it may be, and an additional probably screenshots or whatever it may be. So some type of instructions on how to use Open Author. That would be for the MOOC participants. And now I see where you're going. I'm sorry, I'm about 4 steps behind you tonight. And then a job aid for the facilitators, who then would be reviewing these final deliverables and then putting it within our group for those that had met the criteria, right?
Yes.
Love it.
Okay, good.
Love it. Run with that, and I'm very, very happy to pass that off, because I, like I said, unfortunately, I don't know all that much about the inner workings of OER Commons. So how does that sit with Kay? I don't know if you're caught up enough, or anybody else, Aaron or Gilbert. How does that sit with you guys? Diane, mute.
I think we should set some parameters for content. Okay, that's what Brian says, I think.
Sounds good to me, Enrico. Nothing I can add.
Okay, very good. Okay, and so we did skip around a little bit. Oh, we had Gio for a minute and we lost him. I should have. We're skipping around here, but okay, so there's Gio's piece. We talked about Gilbert and Aaron. Let's see. This is a carryover from last week, actually, the OER Commons group.
Jennifer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is the other group preparing, or maybe the subject matter experts are doing this, are they preparing the rubric that contains that criteria that the final deliverable has to meet?
Well, it's going to be what Aaron just went over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what it's going to be. So, but to your point, is that really a rubric?
Okay.
Not necessarily, right? I mean, I guess it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would think a rubric would be what they would be it's evaluative, grade, more like a grading thing. So.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that layer needs to be there or not. So.
Yeah, you know what? And again, this will be. Let's definitely put this in our thing for. I'm gonna make copy this right here and make a final deliverable. Final deliverable evaluation. So we would need a rubric, and I believe something that JR was working on. Will it be helpful? I don't know if, did you find this on Joe, when you were on OER comments? I think it's called, oh shoot, what is it called? It's how to evaluate, like it's Achieve maybe, the Achieve rubric.
Okay.
Did you see that in OER Commons?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, so I'll have to go back and try to find that because JR brought that up. Okay, so rubric to evaluate final deliverable. And then this is with the end game being, this is something that the facilitators would do, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would do to ensure ready to be published to Hub.
And then I guess that could also be a part of the self-assessment if that's going to be part of it. So we can make it super user-friendly so that the attendees could evaluate their own products or deliverables.
Okay, got it. Okay, so rubric for the deliverable. So we've got two components here. We'd have one being the facilitators as well as the a self-assessment, right? By the MOOC participants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so my note here to myself is check with JR because we may have a jump start on this. He has a section within the MOOC where he's having students go out and find OER for K-12 audience and find some that could be adapted for an adult audience. And so he had some criteria he was looking at to determine whether or not the OER was quality. So maybe if we borrowed some of that and then added in some of the things that relate specifically to our style guide, we could blend the two together. So we'll check with JR on that. Okay. So, okay. So should we, did you want to work on that too, Joe, or do you want to?
Sure.
Or do you think that, Aaron, does that make some more sense with, well, you know what, can we just put a question mark here for a second? Let me get more detail on this, because some of this might actually already be, we may have a pretty good jump on this already, or a good start of it, because Jessica also has a self-assessment component for her design plan and proposal, which is building off of what JR is doing. So let me just double check on this. So let's talk about this actually on, December 2nd, when we're all together.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just hang off on that piece. But great, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, then I think the only other thing that I had was up into here. Okay, so on this piece for Module 5, when they're actually going to be creating the prototype using the style guide that Aaron and Gilbert had been working on, do you think there needs to be any additional instructions on that, or can it just be simply the way you have it laid out with those green instructions? Do you think that's sufficient for someone to be able to come along and if we just link them to this style guide? What do you think, Aaron and Gilbert?
I'll let Gilbert comment.
Okay, any thought? Okay, man. I don't know if you can hear us. Gilbert, I don't think you can hear us. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear what we're saying. All right, so that would be the only thing. And once I'm right now right in the midst of writing that lesson 5, module 5. So let me see how it fits in with what I've got together. And then,
Sure.
I guess we did have a question, I guess, came up last week. I don't know if we came to a conclusion. I guess we did decide that we weren't going to be drafting live in open author, that we were going to have the students either Google Docs or Word. And Joe, I don't know, does it seem to matter with open author? Are you able to just do the same type of cut and paste from a Word document? I know there's an import ability with Google Docs. Do you think there'd be any advantage one way or the other having them start their prototype in either Google Docs or Word as far as integration with Open Author?
I don't know that much yet. I can check into it though.
Okay, so I'll put a comment here. And Joe, you can just kind of help us decide if it'd be great if we didn't have to force them to Google Docs, I guess, because I think I'm a little worried that some would not have, might not have a Google account or whatever. Joe, to assess whether Google Docs or Word better option. Because if they can create their prototype, say for example in Word, and then we go through the evaluation of it, and then they upload it to Open Author, if they can just do a cut and paste as easily as Google import, we may as well do that. Then we don't have to worry about trying to get them migrated over to Google Docs. Oh, and there's Gio. All right, let me. Hey, Gio, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, good, good. Did you have any progress on the logo piece?
A little bit, yes. It's just, lately I have some problems with my computer.
Oh, okay.
I've been very, very sick.
Oh, okay.
With my voice. Yes.
So do you want to go ahead and you want to email those to me when you have them available?
Yes, I'm gonna have it available this weekend.
Okay.
I'm gonna mail it to you.
Okay, that sounds great. And so do you kind of
Yes.
get the sense of what we're talking about? Just so we have something that references that this is a Designers for Learning project, and then somehow incorporate that this is a special project like the Adult Learning Zone label. And then we'll use it in various spaces for like a social media profile, as well as like headers in our group space on OER Commons, things like that. So basically the same logo, just in like a square format and a rectangular header type is really what we're looking for.
Okay, yes. So, I have a question.
Sure.
I'm not sure if regarding, the prototype, you're thinking it might be like design. I'm working on a website. I'm working on something very similar, and I'm using Keynote.
Okay.
And it's very, handy. I'm not sure maybe it's possible to design something like that over Keynote. What do you think about it? Or maybe it's more compatible with Google Docs or Word.
Is Keynote Apple only?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so we have to kind of keep it in something that everybody can use, which tends to be, fortunately or unfortunately, Word or
Okay.
Google Docs. So, but yeah, I know, so because we last cohort we used PowerPoint, which is similar to Keynote, right? As far as the prototype.
Yeah. Right.
I think when Gilbert was in a cohort, that's what we used. But then again, we used more of the Microsoft environment rather than.
Oh, okay. Just it was an idea, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well that sounds good. Well, I think we've ticked all the boxes here. So I guess the most important thing is if I don't know if you were here, Gio, the next meeting we're going to have is Wednesday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. Central, so it's 7 p.m. And that will be a combined between our Adult Learning Zone and then also the MOOC team. And we'll go over some of the questions we just came up with tonight as far as rubrics for evaluating things and how the style guide that Aaron put together, how that works with the other materials that the other group had. So until then, I guess that's about it. And Joe, I think the biggest right now amount is on your plate. And I did assign, I don't know if Brian's going to be listening to this or not. He had to cut out, but certainly I'll ask him do you want his help, or would you just rather work on this alone?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to help out, definitely.
Okay, so when we wrap up here tonight, I will just send Brian a quick email and kind of summarize what we talked about, and then I'll let you two kind of run with it. So would you be okay then, Joe, on the 2nd to have just, it doesn't have to be a final form, but it's kind of just a rough outline or a draft of what you're thinking about as far as the materials that we talked about tonight?
Sure.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. I think that's it. That's all I had, unless anybody else had any other questions.
I have a question.
Sure.
Whenever you want to maybe like download the document, the Google documents, are we gonna do it through a link, or are you gonna send that out the actual document included in an email?
For which?
For instance, like today, the breakdown, all about, the design and all about, the presentation. This is a Google document, right?
Right.
So are you gonna send it out, this document, or is a link that where we can maybe like download the document?
Oh yeah, sure. The thing that we're looking at on the screen right now, you mean?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
sure. I'll put it in the chat room. Right? Are you able to see the chat room or?
Yeah. I'm in the chat room. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, click right there. That's the.
Okay, I got it.
You
Yes.
got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Perfect. Thank you.
Sure thing. Okay. Well, very
All
good.
right.
Well, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on December 2nd. Have a good holiday.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Okay.
Dude.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
Good night.